Hello, my name is Mystery Cube 7 and in today's video I'll be talking about the Yuzu Emulator. So first I'll talk about the process of making it so I can actually use the emulator. And the thing about Yuzu is, unlike Dolphin or Citra or Cemu or RSPC3 or DSMUMI or any of those emulators, you have to go and get files off of your console before you can use the emulator. And I think there are games that work without having to get these files, but it's recommended to get them. And it's sort of similar to like a PS2 emulator or original Xbox emulator, where you have to go and get to your BIOS files off the system for copyright reasons. I don't know if Yuzu is exactly the same way, but you have to get stuff off your console. So to do that, you need to enter RCM, and you basically dump your system keys, dump some other files needed, and also if you have any cartridge games that you want to dump, you can dump them from within Atmosphere, which is a custom firmware, so that you can use them on Yuzu in the form of XCI files. So you need to enter RCM, dump all your stuff, and then in Yuzu you need to just move the files to the proper places. If you have any games on your SD card in the Nintendo folder, you can just copy those over to a specific folder and use all of those. And that's how you set it up. So setup is a little bit of a process, because it's not as simple as, download like Dolphin for example, set game path, start playing. And then there's also configuration, which the configuration is very similar to Citra and other emulators. It's pretty basic. It doesn't need much explaining. And then in-game, for some games it runs well. Like for example, like there's a lot of games that at the start they have a low frame rate or pretty laggy, but then once you've been playing them for a little bit, it's smooth. So like Mario Odyssey, ARMS, Pokemon Quest. I only tested a few games, but it runs well after you just let it. I'm guessing when it's lagging at the start, it's just compiling lots of shaders and things. And then there's some games that don't work. Like I saw, it has a built-in compatibility list like Citra does. There's some games like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe I saw won't boot under it, and I tried it and won't boot. And there's some games like Sonic Mania. Like back when Citra was new, or not Citra, Yuzu was new, they talked about how Sonic Mania was one of the first games that they got to be like, working fine on the emulator. For me, whenever I launch it, it is on the loading screen as my RAM just increases and increases and increases until it reaches my max amount of RAM, and then the emulator crashes. So I don't know why Sonic Mania doesn't work for me. It's not really a big deal because I have it through Steam, but yeah, game compatibility is kind of hit or miss, at least for me. Like it either works like pretty much fine, or it just straight up does not boot, or it crashes very early. And like Tetris 99, it'll boot, but like it reaches loading screen like a few seconds in and then just crashes. So overall I think it's very impressive how, especially like back when, like they have most retail games like booting now. They have Smash Bros that works. They got Mario Odyssey. They got ARMS. Like the game compatibility, it isn't as good as it would be on Dolphin or Cemu or something, but you can still play a few Switch exclusive games on it, and they run pretty good. And I mean, another impressive thing is it's also emulation of a current gen console. Like you don't see any Xbox One emulators or PS4 emulators, but there's a Switch emulator. Another thing is how early Switch emulation released, because a lot of it is based on Citra, which is a 3DS emulator. So that was pretty impressive how soon they got it off the ground, even though not everything works. And of course, even now, not everything works. And there are bugs, and there is a lot of crashing. But hey, that's just how emulation is. So, as you can see here in the background, it's either Mario Odyssey footage or ARMS footage, depending on, you know, when this is put in. But like for these two games, it runs well. Mario Odyssey, you can see I did the first moon skip. That was kind of cool. I also was able to do the getting into the Odyssey early glitch. I don't know if I'll include that or not. And also another cool thing is mods. Like for example, Mario Odyssey, I have a bunch of mods on that makes the game look nicer. Like for one, I'm forcing it to render in 1920 by 1080, whereas on Switch I think it renders in either 720 or 900p. I don't know for sure, but it's definitely a lower resolution. I have it set to use, I have a mod that makes it so that it's always in camera mode. Like, it always renders in screenshot mode, because screenshot mode actually renders it nicer than in normal gameplay, probably because, you know, screenshots are meant to look nicer, not run smoother. But hey, if you're on an emulator, then you can make it run at a higher resolution, make it look nicer with anti-aliasing or something. I also have mods to disable blur, because I don't really like motion blur. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I do wish that more games worked, because I mean, even though most of my games work, there are some games that I would like to work. Like for example, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Sonic Mania, Cadence of Hyrule is another one. That I don't know if they're just for me, because the compatibility list says that some of them, like Cadence of Hyrule and Sonic Mania, work, but for me, they just crash. I don't know why, but it'd be nice if I was able to play them. And I'm excited for the future of the emulator, because I mean, it'll only get better as time goes on. And yeah, thank you for watching. If there's any specific game you'd like to see me record on Yuzu or try out, if I have it, I will. If I don't, then I can't really help you. And see you next time.